Yeah, they put us in a room, similar to this, and they, will start showing tape and plays from the previous games and show you plays that were missed. And there are always going to be calls that you need to make that's going to favor that team that's down in the series. And that's how they program and train the referees to go out there and put a team at an advantage or a disadvantage. And, as a referee, you're watching these plays on the big screen TV, and you're going to go out and you're going to make those calls, and you're going to do it because you're getting graded based on what they're telling you to call, and you want to be an official that moves up into the next round of the playoffs and makes the extra $25,000, $30,000 per round. So you're going to want the best grade possible, so you're going to do exactly what they tell you to do. I remember there was travels called on Yao Ming, illegal screens, and all of a sudden he's on the bench, and there's a problem, and Dallas, like I said, wins the next 2 games and ends up winning that series in 7. So that's why Van Gundy was so furious, because how many series are you up 2 games to none, right, going to your home floor, and you end up winning? And
biggest night in sports, it's rigged.
Message.
Did I just spoil the surprise for some of the people? It's scripted entertainment. What we do is fake, right? So I know what you're thinking. Me hosting the ESPYs, that's crazy. Or is it genius? It's time to take a look at yourself, sports, and realize that you're more like the WWE than you have ever imagined.
Dwight Smith exposing how rigged the NFL is.
I don't believe the game is really decided on the field, so, I don't get into all the X's and O's and talking, man. Like I said, I played in the game. I set a Super Bowl record, and we knew every play they was running before the game started, so, hey.
Devontae, another 1-score loss. How do you turn the train around?
Stick to the script. It's frustrating. Stick to the script.
Let's just say it was
Uh-oh. Got that mic.
Let's just say it was
But look at the ref helping him out. He literally trips this Vikings cornerback and it ends up in a Curtis Samuel touchdown. Just look at this. 24 was in perfect position to pick it off, and then he collides with the ref. That is unreal.
Me speaking about this really goes against me. Like, my annuities and my portfolio is in the NFL. It's under the NFL. So if they go down, my stuff goes down. But I feel like you guys' souls mean much to me. So you can see the bigger picture. So you don't have to argue it Wednesday at 3 p.m. with a fan that's a Patriots fan. Y'all guys cussing each other out. And it's not even, it's just all scripted. Like, you want me to say it.
They have nothing to say.
But they're not denying anything, and they're not refuting any of the facts.
That's...
NFL team owners have documented ties. Past and present NFL team owners have documented business ties to either the gambling community and or the organized crime syndicate.
I think the NFL is rigged. Just sort it. Clean it up. What y'all think? Look at that. Points up. He goes for a high tackle and ducks right under. I don't know. What y'all think?
You murdering Bill Gates!
You son of a bitch! You have blood on your head! You have blood on your head!
You murdering son of a We know who you are, you son of a bitch! Murder! Arrest Bill Gates! 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 We know who you are, you son!
at some point, you're gonna have to go home to your kids, and you're gonna want to do your job. Maybe do a little bit of research. Hey, do you guys know about the World Health Council? The world treaty that they want to create and sign Canada on for the next pandemic? Do you guys even know about that? Maybe Google it when you get home. Google it when you get home. Do a little bit of investigation. I thought that's what cops do, is they do investigations. They research things. You guys are going to have to start doing your jobs at some point.
He used to think that medicine was there purely to heal people and make people better, and that all the doctors were on board with that.
And what do you think now?
Now I think they're captured by an enormous industry, and that this enormous industry, first of all, it starts with dictating where funds go. So there's one group that decides what studies are going to be run, what tests, what research is going to be funded. And so all of those doctors that receive that funding have to step in line. Then you have the enormous impact that we have in this country of pharmaceutical drugs are allowed to advertise on television. We're one of 2 countries in the world.
You in
that
New
allow
Zealand,
that.
right?
Yes, that's it.
Was someone that we praise but was actually a horrible person. Mahatma Gandhi comes to mind when asked this question. There seems to be a universal agreement that he was a great man and always did the right thing, but quite a few Indians, specifically Hindus and Sikhs, despise the man. He was actually quite a terrible leader and mishandled a lot of things. Some blame him for the atrocious deaths that could have been prevented if not for his non-violence approach to everything. And a lot of people blame him for the separation of India and Pakistan. He was two-faced. While on the surface he preached of a united India, at the same time he was sending letters to Muslim leaders motivating them to fight for partition. He was a terrible leader, and not many people outside of India know much about that. He was just a puppet of the British rule, who convinced the Indian population to not use violence while the British continued to do so. He was in fact, a horrible person. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that he was sexist, racist, while in South Africa, and commonly made 15 to 16-year-old girls sleep naked in his room, including his grandniece.
Mother Teresa was kind of a bitch. This modern-day saint who was loved by many has a dark history. Mother Teresa opened missions to help the needy and sick, but definitely didn't care about either of them. In one of her missions, an investigative reporter found a patient dying without receiving care. Medical staff were also washing needles in the sink and reusing them. Even though she raised millions to fund these missions, the conditions were so bad that they were compared to photographs of concentration camps. Maybe she didn't know? Wrong. When asked about the poor conditions, she said, "There is something beautiful in seeing the poor accept their lot, to suffer it like Christ's passion." Of course, she wasn't about that life herself. When she became ill, she fled to California to see the best doctors and receive high-end care. I guess saints don't have time for suffering.
Oh boy, we're gonna learn one day, ain't we? When you start to see certain individuals anywhere, in any particular place of influence or power, they are complacent with the system at hand. Now, a lot of these people you see in these pictures with the Dalai Lama, some of you know exactly who they are and what they do and what they're into. And the symbolism that you see these people do also lets you know exactly what they're into. They are showing their allegiance every time they do these things. And at this point, I don't know why anybody thinks it's a conspiracy theory when it's clearly right in your face at this point. The fact that the Dalai Lama got so comfortable to do this in front of the world lets you know something.
And suck my tongue. And suck my tongue.
Nora Vincent has died by assisted suicide.
She was a radical feminist who believed men lived on easy mode and tried to prove it by disguising herself as a man for 2 years.
Men are suffering. They have different problems than women have, but they don't have it better.
Do you think women understand what it's like to be a man?
Not at all. No clue.
Ended up hating women because of how bad women would treat her. She couldn't understand why women had no sympathy, had no empathy towards her. She was a man with no status, and she couldn't understand why women didn't give a shit. And she ended up killing herself. Now,
it's a very sad story.
It is a sad story.
But it does paint a picture about the world that we already know and that we try to help.
Recently, Johns Hopkins University put out a survey asking anyone who has taken DMT and seen beings such as aliens, serpents, or machine elves to participate. Although the survey has been taken down in 2019, it raises questions about the psychedelic experiences that happens while on DMT. Most people will say that they all have similar experiences, see similar things, or communicate with machine elves. The study asked questions regarding whether or not the encounters with beings on DMT had a life-changing impact on the user's life and if the user had a breakthrough by passing into the alternate reality. In case you're curious what they look like, here are some pictures that allegedly depict machine elves.
Shown 3 years ago what the University of Washington was doing under Bill Gates. And this is in the 90s.
What were they doing?
What do you do? They don't even know what they're being given. It's intravenous.
So you think it's some sort of alien intervention type shit?
Dude, they to get even deeper, they turn your heart off for 5 minutes and they pump oxygen into your blood. And you're in the meetings. I've talked to people that are involved. I mean, top scientists. And you're in the meetings with frickin' aliens. Elves is the main group. But they're
like that. You're just like pushed through. And you see the tykes is the technical term that I evolved for them. The self-transforming machine elves that are singing in the hyperdimensional language. And they surround you and say, "Welcome, we're so glad to see you. You come so rarely. It's so nice that you're here. We love you." And they're sort of climbing all over you. And this kidney thing. And after having experienced it many times, I'm convinced it's someone's idea of a receiving area or playpen. It's someone very odd has the idea that this is a reassuring environment for human beings. And you have the feeling of being in a playpen. It's padded, and there are these glittering, fascinating, transforming things, and plus elves who could wish for more in a playpen. And the elves are playing with these things and saying, "See what we're doing? See what we're doing? Do you want to do this? You can do this. Watch what we're doing." And they are speaking a language which is somehow puns, which are visual, which are multiply perceived by you on many levels. They are doing something, in other words, as beyond language, as language is beyond the inarticulate croak of a loon, you know? And they're saying, "You can do this. There's nothing special about this." Making objects with our voices, freestanding objects which are changing and transforming themselves, and in fact themselves beginning to sing and speak and produce more objects. We want you to do this. And because it will make you happy, because you will feel good. Isn't this a riot? Have you ever felt better in your life? And then, you know, the sinking back, the fading out, and they always, the final farewell, they sing, "Deja vu."